Hello everybody and welcome to our new tutorial here on how to do a Thermador double oven and microwave combo cabinet. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to stack this cabinet, or this double oven inside of a cabinet on top of, below a microwave cabinet that looks like this. So this one's got the trim kit. These are both going to be 30-inch wide, so this is a 30-inch wide trim kit here on around the microwave. And then same thing over here, this is going to be a 30-inch wide double oven. And ideally what we need is we're going to need to stack that microwave on top of this one using two separate cabinets. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. So first thing you want to do is pull up the specs. Go to their website, and then on this one is a Thermador website. So just go to thermador.com. Find the model you're going to be using, or whichever one you're going to be purchasing. Thermador makes some really nice appliances, and their stuff is really easy to use. So down here underneath Overview, once you've pulled up the product code on their website, go to all the way over. Let's go Manuals and CAD Files, and we're going to go to Installation Instructions. And it's going to open up in a new window. And basically this is what we have. It's this guy right here. Now I'm going to open it up in my Adobe Acrobat so I can highlight some things for you. So what we're going to do is scroll all the way down to the point where we find the cabinet opening. Pretty much everything else in all these specs is not really for us. There's just a lot of stuff about how to install it, and that'll be something for your contractor to do. But for planning purposes, we're just going to look for the 30-inch double oven. If I can find it. See, 27-inch combo. No, that's not what we're doing. 27-inch double oven. 27-inch combo oven. There we go. So they have quite a few different models that they're doing with this single set of specs here. So let's just take a look right here. We're going to be using the wall installation of a 30-inch double oven. And let's just get into this a little bit better. They give you some pretty good accurate descriptions of the product itself. These are the overall sizes. This stuff is really not so important. That's really just more to make sure that your overlays are all correct and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here to the wall installation of the 30-inch double oven. And this is what we're going to be looking at. So we know that the interior width of this cabinet needs to be 28.5. Then also we're going to take a look here. We need 51 1/8 of an inch for the height. That's the height of the opening. Depth is going to be 24 inches. So that's from back to front. There needs to be a clear opening depth. And then the minimum distance from the bottom of the oven opening to the floor is going to need to be 4 3/4, or you can go all the way up to 17 1/4. Now, you're going to be looking at this. Well, which one should I use? Should I get right in the middle? And that just depends. In this application, we're going to be doing a double oven in this opening, and then right above it, we're going to be doing a microwave oven. So we're going to want to hold those down in elevation. So we're not going to want to bring them all the way up to, like, say, 17 1/4. If you were only installing the double oven on the wall and there was no microwave above it, then I would say by all means use 17 1/4 from the floor to the bottom of the oven, because then you could put like a pots and pans drawer there, and that'd be really useful for storing like cookie sheets and stuff like that when you're cooking. But in this case, since we're doing the double oven, we need to get it as low as possible. That way we still have access to that microwave oven up above it. Okay, so let's plan for that. I am going to use 4 3/4. I'm going to maximize it as much as possible. Okay, the width, interior width, is going to be 28.5, and then I'm also going to be looking at 51 1/8. I need to get it as close to that as possible. You can be a little off on these things. Let's see. You can be a little off on these things. We're probably going to be hitting 51 1/4 right in there for that one, since our cabinets are built to 1/4 inch increments. That's completely fine. Depth is 24 inches, so that's a clear depth from the inside of the cabinet. So I'm going to be using these 4 dimensions. It's pretty simple. And first thing I'm going to need to do is, since we're going to build a base cabinet for it, let's figure out what base cabinet we're going to use. Let's go over to our website, and I'll just run you through it here. So we're at the front page here. We're going to go to Tall Cabinets. We're going to find one that says Appliance, and in this case it's this guy right here. And all of these look okay, except for there's one that's really made for a double oven, and that's this guy right here. 0-door double oven cabinet with a double thick deck and a double thick top. And basically it's a little overkill. I know it's got 2 3/4 inch thick plywood decks, But that's really important because this thing can hold up to about 1,000 pounds or so. So that's way more weight than you're going to need to be able to hold with that double oven. But it is good to have this there because you want a little extra clearance. That's going to give you about 1.5 inches of face to play with. Same thing up on top. So it's going to really get that cabinet structurally supported the way it needs to be. This is the one I would recommend for this area. Okay, first thing we're going to do, from the floor to the bottom of the opening is 5.5. Now, looking back at our specs, we need 4 3/4, so we're at 5.5. So that's no problem. So we're going to go 5.5 there. Opening height, and then we got another 1.5 inches of space up above it. So what we need to do is we need to figure out the opening height. The opening height is obviously going to be 7 inches smaller than the total height of the cabinet. And that's basically because you got 1.5 inches on top and then 5.5 down below. So, and that's also talked about right here, opening height. Cabinet height minus 7 inches. We need an opening height of 51 1/8. So really we need 58 1/8 or 58 1/4 would be good. So let's find that on the drop down menu here. 58 1/4 for the height. No problem. I'm kind of working backwards here. I should have started with the width. So the width is very simple. All you got to do is just take the opening width is 28.5. And then obviously the opening width here is just the cabinet width minus 1.5 inches, because the sides of the cabinets are 3/4 of an inch thick on each side. So we need a 30-inch wide cabinet. So basically, there we go. Depth. Now you can do 24 inches. Now here we do have a nailer in the back. There's 3 nailers here, and there's 2 different options here that you can do. You can order the cabinet at 24 inches in depth, and you can make it a counter depth. You know, like basically the same depth as your base cabinets. And that's fine. I don't like doing that personally. When I'm doing cabinet layout, I like to make my cabinet depths staggered. When I have tall cabinets, I like to make them 26 inches deep from front to back. When I have base cabinets, I like to make them 24 inches deep from front to back. And the reason for that 2-inch difference is so that my countertop has somewhere to die off into. It finishes nicely into the side of the end panel, and it makes it so you don't have a little knob or like a little knob here with the countertop sticking out. I think that looks terrible. I mean, it depends on who is doing it. There's a lot of designers that'll say we have to stay with 24 inches so we can keep the planes the same way. Personally, I think that it doesn't draw the eye if you use a 26-inch depth from front to back on the tall cabinets. That's just that's what I would do. So anyway, I'm going to order this one at 26 inches in depth. If you do decide that you have to order it at 24 inches for some reason, you can just do not install the nailers in the back of this cabinet. It'll be fine. It's got plenty of structural support, but our standard for cabinet construction is to use nailers to ensure that the cabinet is perfectly square. So just make sure your opening is perfectly square when you go to install that cabinet prior to putting your oven in. Okay, so I'm going to use 26 inches in depth. Opening width. We already did all this stuff. That you can't change any of these options. These are just the formula, so you can kind of refer to them. Alright, face of cabinet wood type. Again, this stuff doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put whatever I want in here because that's really up to you. And you can do a standard toe kick or you can do a flush toe kick. Most likely you're just going to do a standard toe kick. Because if you're going to be reaching, the only time I'd use a flush toe kick is if it's going to be more decorative. Obviously the flush toe kick, let's take a look at that. That's basically when the toe kick's going to sit out flush with the face of the cabinet case. So there wouldn't be no toe kick recess. If you're accessing that microwave on a regular basis, you're going to want to leave as much room there, and you will notice it if there's a flush toe kick and you're always reaching into that upper cabinet. Your feet will be hitting the face of the toe kick. So anyway, this way I'm going to order it. I'm going to add one to the shopping cart right now. 1 second. And there we go. So we're all good to go there. I got my cabinet all in there. Width of 30, height of 58 1/4, and a depth of 26. No problem. All right, so let's go move on to the microwave cabinet. And what we're going to do here is same thing. Pull it up in Thermador.com's website. And then I'm going to go over to manuals and CAD files. I'm going to go to installation instructions. Click on that. It's going to pop open. Again, I'm going to open up my Adobe Acrobat. That way I can highlight stuff. And this is the very first page. So what we're going to do here is we're going to scroll down until we find one with the cabinet opening we want. So we know we need a 30-inch appliance here. this guy. And the opening width, let's zoom in there for you. Opening width 28 and 7/16. What they're trying to say is it's 28 and a half. The total width of the cabinet is 30 inches. We already know that. We already did that for the other one. Let's see here. The minimum depth here is going to be 21 inches. So we're going to be using 24. That's no problem. I'm sorry, we're going to be using 26. We're going to be using a 26-inch deep cabinet to match up with the lower cabinet we just built a second ago. Height, 19 and 7/8. Basically, they're asking for a 19 7/8 to a 20-inch tall opening. And then they need a minimum of 36 inches from the floor. And basically what they're saying there is that they don't want that microwave put real close to the floor because it's going to be almost impossible for you to get into it. And really what this dimension, or what this little this piece is saying right here, is that they don't want you to use it for an under-counter microwave. That's just not what it's for. They didn't design it like that. They don't want you using it in that sort of application. You probably could if you wanted to, but I would definitely recommend staying with these guys. Thermador knows what they're doing. They're a very high-end appliance. Okay, so moving on here. This stuff really doesn't make too much of a difference. This is really the outlet. You just want to make sure your outlet is somewhere within the back side of the cabinet. They're telling you right here that they want it into the shaded area. So just make sure that it's in some portion of the shaded area, and you can kind of figure that out just by using math, the height of the base cabinet that we just used a second ago, and then this cabinet. You can get the outlet where you need to. In worst case scenario, you can always move the outlet prior to installation of your cabinets. So we're not going to really look at this. Ideally, all we need is this guy, this picture right here. Total cabinet width is going to be 30 inches. It needs to be clear openings. So let's go figure out what cabinet's going to work for it. Now, since it's a wall-mounted microwave, I'm going to go to wall cabinets, and I'm going to go to the appliance cabinet section. And the most simple cabinet you can order here, which one looks like it, I guess all the other ones here, is going to be this guy right here, the simple appliance case. Now, not to say you couldn't use this guy right here with the wide rails. You can, it's just that there's extra space there that you really don't need. They're not asking for anything more. They're just telling you, look, it needs to be this exact dimension, and they're set up for a frameless style cabinet like we are. So I'm going to use this one, appliance case. That's the wall appliance case cabinet. Width, we already know that. It has to match up with the width below for the lower cabinet, so we're going to do 30 inches. Height, let's figure out what height we need. That's pretty simple. They're asking for a 19 and 7/8. Let's round that up to 20 inches. So the opening height needs to be 20 inches. Down here it says the opening height is a cabinet height minus 1.5. So if we need a 20-inch opening height, that means we need to order a 21.5-inch tall cabinet. Depth, we want that to be exactly the same as one below. The other cabinet was ordered at 26-inch depth. We're going to order this one at 26-inch depth as well. Opening width, opening height, and opening depth. These are just to verify you know what you're doing. Those are just the formulas for figuring out the openings. Face of wood cabinet type, I'm going to say paint grade and Dover white. Doesn't really matter. That's up to you guys. You guys choose all that stuff compared to what you're planning on doing. So that's pretty much it. I got a 30-inch wide cabinet, 21.5-inch tall, 26 inches in depth. I'm going to add that one to the shopping cart. And I'm going to go to checkout. There we go. I got my two cabinets now in the shopping cart, and those will hold those Thermador appliances. So that's pretty much it. If that was what you wanted, you know, that's the cabinets you'd order. Let's go a little bit farther here. I'm going to toss this thing into Cabinet Vision. We're going to show you what this thing looks like. All right, I got Cabinet Vision open here. You do not have to do this at home. I'm just doing this for you so you can visualize what we're doing here. I am going to add in a what was that? A tall double oven cabinet. I'm going to start with our base cabinet here. The width was at 30. The height, 58.25. Depth, 26, because I don't want my countertop to die off into the side. It's no problem. Okay, everything else is all good there. I'm going to now add in my appliance case cabinet. I'm going to go to my wall cabinets up here, my trusty Cabinet Vision. Let's go wall appliance case. There it is. All right, wall appliance case cabinet. The height is going to be, sorry, width is 30. Height is going to be 21.5. Depth 26. Okay. And that's good. So I'm going to decrease that by 12.25. So I'm basically just lining this thing up so it looks cool. All right, so that's pretty much it there. These are my cabinets. This is what it looks like in 3D. If I could rotate correctly, thank you. And all these seams are going to be covered up by the appliance. It does have some overlaps on top and bottom, so that's something to keep in mind. So basically, this is what it looks like when it's all said and done. That's your tall appliance case. Don't forget that you need end panels on the side of it. And now, those are all plugged in. What you can do here, we only have, let's see, what is that? Total combination is, yeah, it's around 79 or so. So what we're going to do is, we do have some extra space here. So I have a 96-inch ceiling height. You can really do whatever you want up on top. Do not add in like in this application, of course, don't add in like a warming drawer down below. That's getting too many appliances. You got a microwave above, a double oven below, and then you can need something up above. Most likely you're going to want to use a 2-door wall cabinet, which I would recommend. So this is the 96-inch ceiling height. I know you'll probably have something different than that on your deal. It could be a 108-inch tall. It doesn't really matter. In this case, I'm going to do a 12.25 tall wall 2-door cabinet. And I am going to set this here. The width is 30. And this wall 2-door cabinet is going to basically eat up the rest of the height to get us up to where we need to. This cabinet only comes with one adjustable. That bothers me. Seeing that there. Alright, so looking at it here, we got 4 inches of space there. If we want to, we can kind of we can throw some end panels on this thing just for fun. Oops. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go 92-inch tall. I'm just doing some aesthetic things here real quick. So all right. So basically I'm putting end panels on this cabinet so we can kind of see what it looks like. Alright, and I forgot to increase the width of that upper cabinet. I'm going to take that up to 26 inches in depth. And here we go. Alright, so that's kind of a general idea of what this cabinet's going to look like without the appliances in it. Okay, so I added some of the appliances in it. Now this is not an accurate representation of the microwave chamber. I don't really have a good CAD drawing of one. So let's see what this looks like. Have it render real quick for you. There you go. This is a Thermador double oven. Or actually, I think this is a Viking double oven, but it looks similar. So it's going to look similar to this. Now, the nice thing about this setup is you're going to have access to your microwave chamber up above, and then your double oven down here. So you got quite a bit of appliances in here. Just don't forget, yeah, you need the crown mold up above, and then the toe skins down below. I didn't add any of those in there. We can add those in later. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Have a good day.